One policeman lost his life while at least 10 people were injured on Monday following an overnight violent clashes in Manipur's West Kangpokpi area. According to officials, sound of indiscriminate firing from Phayang and Singda villages were heard. Officials fear that there could be more casualties from both sides. Assam Rifles manages a buffer zone between the two villages. At least 2 civilians and a state force personnel were injured in separate attack by suspected Kuki militants Saturday in Bishnupur district. It's also being reported that ethnic groups are using quadcopters to target each other in the violence at state. Quadcopters have been put to extensive use by the two warring communities where the villages face each other. The security forces meanwhile have created buffer zones at these places to keep the agitated protesters away. And court heard multiple issues today. One was on the internet, another issue of the court was about the status report. The High Court has also asked the Manipur government to consider providing broadband connectivity through fiber to home house. There are multiple issues, but my question is, into the point, is Manipur normal? A lot of things have been claimed in the status report. And I will be I am also being joined by Thangmenal Dongel, researcher, scholar, National Institute of Educational Planning and Administration. A very warm welcome to you. Chakma, Director, Rights and Risk Analysis Group. But first to our input editor, Brajesh, is Manipur normal?
Not at all, Karthike, and I think the sporadic incident of violence which is going on, which continues unabated, puts a serious question mark on the kind of effort that has been being done on the ground to restore normalcy in the state of Manipur. I think what the Supreme Court today, the Apex Court, what it said marks a very significant angle as far as the entire violence which is going on. They said like they cannot control the law and order apparatus, and it is the duty of the state to control the law and order is a state subject. And it increases the responsibility of the state to ensure that all these violence which is going on is controlled. The issue of weapons which have been looted or given away, as many reports have claimed, still remains out, and they haven't been returned to the police or the army, and that causes a major challenge, as a significant challenge as far as controlling violence in the state of Manipur is concerned.
Okay, and before we go any further, let's play out a couple of bites which have come because the delegation of the left front parties had gone to Manipur. They left on Friday, but they were there on Saturday. Just listen to them. These bites came on weekend, but nonetheless, they are important because they led to a resolution also of all parties saying that they want Biren Singh to go. But first, listen into the bites.
Where is the Prime Minister of the country? Where is he? He has the long tongue. He has the big chest, 56 inches. But he is silent. Till this day, people are dying on the streets. We went to the camps everywhere. In the valley, we went to the camps. Up the hills, we went to the camps. Everywhere, people are concerned about the situation. The Prime Minister of the country, till this moment, has not opened his mouth. And under him, the Chief Justice is sleeping. So the people believe that BJP has failed.
इतना नफरत है लोगों के बीच में, ये नफरत निकालने के लिए देखो ये कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्डिंग मेजर्स जरूरत है. We have to have confidence building measures. For that, this government headed by Biren Singh has lost complete legitimacy and faith and trust of the people. And Biren Singh is part of the problem. So only if he quits, then only you can think of restoring peace and tranquility in Manipur.
That she should go out of her own way to restore peace. She should try, as a suggestion, to constitute a committee of responsible citizens and all political leaders and meet the common man on the streets, to the relief camp, everywhere, to build up the confidence.
Actually, sir.
If human beings always like to live together, they do not ordinarily fight. Whatever the reasons, this feeling of mistrust between the two communities has to be removed, and for that an active participation of the office of governor is called for. We have also expressed that this government has lost confidence of people.
And I'm joined by Mr. Dongar and Suhas Chakma. These are the latest visuals. You see, the visuals which we are showing are latest. They are 24 36 are late, but they tell you what is happening in the valley. We have been trying to update all our visual and archives, and we are giving a date key. Mr. Dongal, am I audible to you?
Yes.
Mr. Dongal, can we say that Manipur is normal? Because I went through the status report, and this status report will be played out in the form of graphic on the right side of the screen, because it says that such and such things is happening, state is returning to normalcy, schools have been opened, unified command has been established. The status report says that, ex gratia has been taken care of, so many policemen have been deployed. It also says 2,267 personnel deployed to protect farmers. Number of things, bunkers are being destroyed. My straight question to the point, Mr. Dongal, is Manipur normal?
Manipur is not normal. We have seen sporadic violence taking place in the state, and whatever is portrayed in the news seems to be not aligned to what is really happening at the ground level. We have also seen how there was violence. The firing took place yesterday on Sunday between village volunteers of the Cookies and also the Métis. And while the media, Valley-based media reports that it was the Métis, but it was the Cookies who were attacking the Métis villages. But we have also seen how there was an interview done on the Métis women, and the Métis women have claimed that the state government's announcement or otherwise order to destroy all the bunkers has led to, the upspringing of violence again. And in fact, they have blamed the Assam Rifles for firing and for the killing. So this kind of blame game and there is no congruence between what is reported and what is really happening around reality speaks volume about the situation in Manipur. Yeah, obviously there is no normalcy in Manipur. And regarding the opening of schools, we have also seen how schools are only open in the valley and how
let's go to Mr. Suhas Chakma. Mr. Chakma, there are reports which are also coming from the valley. His director writes in the risk analysis group that even police who have been divided on the Meitei Kuki line, they are going to their Kuki Meitei dominated areas. Is this correct, sir, or is just a false narrative?
It's not the
Mr.
false
Suhas.
narrative. I think it's the correct narrative, and the society has been completely divided along the Meitei and Kuki ethnic lines. The officers who belong to the Kuki community, they are no longer serving or are not in a position to serve with the government of the day in the Imphal Valley. So separation of the state between the Métis and the Cookies have already taken place. It's not our saying, it's the saying of the Chief Minister Biren Singh, who had already spoken about him being given the responsibility for the valley and Home Ministry being given the responsibility for the hills. So that is an acknowledged fact. What is more unfortunate is that you do not have a government in the state. The edifice of the state structure has collapsed. The fourth largest army in the world cannot prevent the violence which is taking place. And you have the Prime Minister completely silent. And today, of course, the Supreme Court saying that because it's a law and order situation,
but
we cannot
Mr.
intervene.
Suhas, isn't it unfair to blame it on the army? Because, army is not part of the political process. It's the job of the politician. I think the responsibility lies on the door of Biren Singh, not Indian Army.
No, absolutely, it lies with the Biren Singh, but we have to remind ourselves that, Article 355 of the Constitution had been imposed from 6th May. So, there is a direct role of the central government. So, it's not only Biren Singh. Biren Singh is directly responsible, but at the same point of time, the Home Minister himself as well as the Prime Minister are equally responsible. So, when I was talking of the Indian Army, it's not Indian Army per se. What I was talking about, the entire Indian state has collapsed or doesn't exist as far as the as far as the Manipur situation is concerned. So we have a situation where fourth largest army, we pride ourselves, but the society has divided in such a manner that they cannot control the violence. Just because there are no increase in the number of killings doesn't mean that this situation is normal. The situation is absolutely divided, and because there are no attempts from the Union of India as well as the state government, as you have rightly said in the beginning, and that Biren Singh is part of the problem. He is the liability, and if the center doesn't see beyond Biren Singh because of their political, calculations, then of course, basically the entire people of Manipur have been left to themselves, whether they want to turn it to Burundi or Rwanda or former Yugoslavia. It's the same situation. You have seen the ethnic feelings in the African region as well as in the heart of Europe in 1990s. So that's the same situation which is prevailing in Manipur, and we don't want to acknowledge it for whatever reason, that we are not taking cognizance of the fact that 125 people or more than that have been killed, about 70,000 people have been displaced, and nowhere you would see the government of India is talking about the rehabilitation package for rehabilitation and resettlement of the displaced people. So they have given ex gratia for those killed, those who were injured. But somebody who has lost everything and is not in a position either to return to the valley or in the hills, how he or she is going to start the normal life. And once they are not able to start the normal life, there is no assistance from the center, then of course the whole alienation starts, the whole feelings of hatred comes in, then the alienation continues and the fighting continues. And today, if you look at Manipur, they are no longer fighting against, it's not for rights to be scheduled tribe or rights for autonomy in the hills. It's about how many Métis could be killed or how many Kukis could be killed, and it's absolutely unfortunate situation. And people in both sides have lost the vision completely.
I think that's I think that's an important point. Also, I'm joined by Dr. Tara Manchin Hangzo. Dr. Tara Manchin Hangzo. A very warm welcome to you. A very warm welcome to you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
I'm meeting you after 2 weeks after the track 2, in which I had requested you that you be part of the show. The reason why I have invited Dr. Tara Manchin Hangzo is because she's a survivor. She survived the violence, and she was able to come to safety. And when I heard her speak, she only had a pair of clothes with her. And Brijesh, she told me that when she left, only thing she remembered was how to make herself and her family safe when her own house, residents, were being targeted. Dr. Tara, point blank question to you. Is Manipur safe today? Brijesh, you tell me, is Manipur safe today?
Well, Karthikeya, I will not, I think the guest has.
Yes, Tara. I think there's a bit of a technical difficulty with Tara. Our PCR will sort it out. Yes, Brijesh.
Well, Karthikeya, I don't think Manipur is safe. And, if you go by, the government's attempt that, that they started schools and all, the fear is palpable, as is very clearly reflected in the attendance of those schools. Kids are sparsely coming to those schools, and, people realize the risk it poses to those children as well as teachers who are conducting classes in those schools. The divide between the Kuki and Meiteis group is so wide and so divisive right now as we speak, Karthikeya, that any thought of peace between the two community right now is aiming for the moon. And the fact is that it's a political process. It's a process which has to be started by the state administration and backed up suitably by the central administration. I think until unless a proper political dialogue starts with under the leadership of someone who both community trust, the chances of arriving at peace looks very far-fetched. The other non-actors, have to get in. There has to be a track to all leaders, eminent leaders from both sides have to join in. People, who everybody trusts have to join in before, we can see or start seeing any semblance of peace returning. But right now, Manipur is, forget being safe, is far from safe.
Okay, Dr. Tara, am I audible to you? So I think Dr. Tara is not there. We'll try to get back to Dr. Tara. Again, going back to Mr. Dongal, there are a couple of other things. Dr. Dongal, I also want to know that why are these incidents taking place? 10 injured in Kangpokpi, 3 injured in Bishnupur, a truck has been burned. The government claims that things are coming back to normalcy. But where are these events taking place?
Yeah, like we said time and again, although we want peace to set in the state of Manipur, the divide and the enmity has gone so deep, the fault line has been drawn so wide that returning to normalcy or otherwise resemblance of peace at this hour is far from realization. Now we have also seen the incidents that had happened yesterday, and also previously on Saturday there was burning of trucks, which was touted as carrying relief materials to the Kuki inhabited areas. But that's why this truck was burned down. Now, when you see the state chief minister saying relief materials have been provided to all the districts, all the affected districts, and also those people in the relief camps, we also have seen how ground reality it is different, and also any intent from the valley towards the hill areas as a sign of good gesture to provide food materials or relief materials has been hijacked in the valley, or anything that moves from valley to the hills. And also the killings that happened yesterday, like I said, let me reiterate it again, how the Meitei women have blamed the Assam Rifles. Now we have seen how prior to this there was dismantling of the bunkers even in the valleys and also in the hill areas. Now after the bunkers were dismantled, violence erupted again. Now I don't see dismantling of bunkers as a roadmap to peace. So therefore, the number of deaths that you talk about, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is a death case which happened in Khamenlok, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe I'm misinformed. So it's an old one where 9 people died and then several hurt. That was in Khamenlok way back in, I think, early June. Whereas the recent most incident was the killing of a Meitei guy who was believed to be a police in the Manipur police commando, who was shot dead, and the Meitei women are blaming the Assam Rifles. We don't exactly know, the confrontation is between the Assam Rifles or the valley-based insurgents or militants, or otherwise the Kukis. Nevertheless, there is violence. Violence has not subsided in the state of Manipur. And we have also seen how National Federation of Indian Women wing, the CPI wing, women wing, CPI women wing, National Federation of Indian Women, 3 women went to Churachandpur and then several other districts and reported on the violence in the state of Manipur. And just because of they reporting that the chief minister was involved, FIR was filed against him. He was a state sponsored. Just because of that, they were. FIR was filed against them, and not only them, but several other Kuki leaders. So therefore, the trust deficit is definitely deep, and I don't see, any sign of peace, dialogue, or otherwise a negotiation coming soon at this juncture.
Let me take this question to Dr. Tara for the last time, if she is there with me. Dr. Tara, am I audible to you? Dr. Tara, are you in Delhi or Imphal?
Yeah, I'm
Where are you, Dr. Tara?
I'm in Delhi.
You are in Delhi, Dr. Tara. Dr. Tara, are you confident enough to go back to Imphal?
Delhi.
Are you confident enough to go back to Imphal?
Yes.
Are you confident enough to go back to Imphal, Dr. Tara?
I'm not confident. Being a Kuki, no, at this moment, at this stage, no, because I'm a Kuki. I'm being termed as a Kuki, so I have no confident of ever going back to Imphal right now in this current situation, because it is not safe for me, because I'm a Kuki. So if I land up in Imphal airport tomorrow, then I will be killed the moment I land up there. So how can you call it safe for me?
So are you saying that Manipur
Just
is
for
not
the
safe?
simple reason because I'm a cookie.
No, are you saying that the Manipur
No,
is not
how
safe?
can it be safe? Because
Why?
Manipur is not safe for the cookie.
Why do you say that? It is also not safe for the Maiti. It is not safe for the both, if I have to say that. Why only one community? Even Nagas are there.
No, what happened is that, especially for there, it is not safe for everybody there because there is shooting going on, there is unrest going on, there is turmoil going on. So everybody is fighting every day. So there is still no peace. So I can say it is not safe for me, a cookie, to go and land up in Imphal tomorrow by plane.
But there has to be a reason. You have been ex-member Manipur ST State Commission. You have been a senior political functionary. If you don't take the lead, who else?
No, I would like to take the lead in bringing peace to my beloved state because I'm a peace-loving people, and we have suffered enough for these 2 months, and we want peace to return. So I would like to broker peace here. Of course, if I have to be in a peace committee, I will surely grab it up and then take it ahead. But since I'm not in that position to take up peace myself, because we are common people today, nobody approached us to broker peace between the Meitei and the Cookies. So, but my request is that even the common layman, now I'm a layman person because I have been chased away from my home and I have to take refuge in Delhi. So how can I call myself safe to go back to Imphal and initiate a peace process? If a peace process have to be initiated, it will have to be in a safer place where I will be safe. A cookie woman will be safe.
Can you just take us through what happened? How did you escape Imphal? Can you just take us through that?
Pardon, can you repeat the question?
How did you escape Imphal? Can you take us through that experience? Can you tell us what happened?
Yeah. On the third night, when we were chased out of a burning house, we have to literally flee our house with just the clothes that we have, with about 20 members of us, family members, only our family members of 20 members, consisting of a mother who's 86 years old and a granddaughter who's just 1.5 years old. So what happened is that we have to literally run out of our burning houses because the mob has entered our compound and they were attacking our cars. We lost 5 cars that day. They started attacking, and then we have to literally run out of the house with just the clothes that we have on our back, and we did not carry anything. So the whole night from 8:30 till 2:30, the ordeal took place, and we were taken safely to the army camp only by 2:30 a.m. in the morning.
Okay. Dr. Seeram Rajesh also joins us. Seeram, thank you so much. Can we say Manipur is safe? As the status report has been filed in the court, and it goes on to say that 2,267 personnel have been deployed for farming. It also goes on to say that number of ATMs have been, or the branches, 218 government branches have been opened. Schools are open, barring 96. The money is being provided in the relief camps. Number of efforts have been taken. Can we say that the state is limping back to normalcy?
No, this is a forced peace. So you cannot actually live in a forced peace, because you cannot build a peaceful, permanent peace under the barrel of gun, because the firing is going on from both sides, and even the Kuki INP have already declared war against the Meitei. Again, the Kokobi have already declared against the war against the narco terrorism and other. So even this opening of the school, and these are like they are trying to normalize this violence without actually resorting bringing peace. In fact, so this cannot be accepted by both sides, either Kuki or Meitei, because both the armed groups are actually attacking each other. And unfortunately, like even in Manipur, as you know that. Even the valley is like a stadium, so it is surrounded by the hills, and still many of the foothills areas, the firing from the Kuki militants are also continuing, and at the same time there is also attack and counter attacks are happening from both sides. So we have to accept the fact that this is not a peace, and the peace cannot be cannot be bring in such manner. And of course, if you ask to the Kuki or even in the Meitei, is like, will you go to the More without protecting by the security forces? Yes, all the Meiteis and even the Kukis in the relief camps, they are still saying that they wanted to go back to their own house, provided that they are being secure in their life. So the question remains is who will secure the life of the community? That is very important. Another thing is that, like, Manipur is it's like a mini India, and it's a multicultural society, and you have 34 communities, recognized communities, and then again another 4-5 tribes are still wanting to be part of the recognized tribes, and there you have 34 communities living together, coexisting, sharing their resources, living together from many years. And as then Kuki and even Naga and the Meitei are the three component part of Manipur. But unfortunately, some vested group and the armed group, they actually wanted to exploit the situation. And of course, as you all know that the 3rd May incident, the violence was happened not in Imphal. It was happened in the Torbung, Bangla, Kangbai, and then Chorchanpur. And it's also happened in More and the Iko in Kangpokpi, where Kukis are dominated and the Meiteis are minority. And the Kuki mob, unfortunately, supported by the armed group, Kuki militant, have exploited the situation, and they have started attacking Meitei villages and then driven out, and then that violence actually spread to Imphal. So this is how it's happening. But still, if you also ask that there are many Kuki villages, villages are there still in Imphal, they are being protected, and they should be also protected. Many of the Kuki church are also not touched, and it is not that no Kukis are there in Imphal. They are still protected. They are there. They are protected by the security forces. Of course, there may not be Meitei in Chorchanpur. There is no any Meitei is completely driven out from More. So it is also another deliberate ploy from the armed group to create this violence, so that they have a proper demand for Kuki land and other. But unfortunately, both the innocent of both the Kukis and Meiteis are affected. Of course, right now what needs to be done is that, as we have already said, that the government of India should actually take action against the Kuki militant and against the Meitei army.
But
I'm very clear. Okay. I'm very clear.
I know you have been saying this. I know you have been reiterating this point. But Mr. Suhas, there is also one thing. There is a political stalemate. These political parties, Congress Party, left parties, they signed a 10-party statement. They released it on Saturday. They are saying that the Biren Singh should go. The larger issue is Biren Singh or not Biren Singh. Two communities need to speak each other, even the communities, including Naga, needs to come together. Right now, the issue is, after 65 days, how do you get them back to sit on the table? India has seen a lot of insurgencies. Let's have a long view of it. India has seen Mizoram, the Naga issue, the Kashmir issue, the left-wing extremism. The resolve of the Indian state has never been broken. It has dealt with it. Suhasji, are we losing the long-term, a long vision, that there is something called resolve of the Indian state? It is as strong as iron.
I was saying in the beginning that the state of India does not exist as far as Manipur is concerned. And of course, the political parties will continue to press for certain...
as an anchor, I would say the state of India exists. Maybe the politicians are not doing their job. I would distinguish that, sir. It's like...
No, I think, at the end of the day, the responsibility for ensuring safety, security and liberty of each citizen is a responsibility of the government of India and the state government of Manipur.
The state government first, sir. State government, it's a federal structure.
No, please. The central government had declared Article 355 of the Constitution on 6th May. The center is in a legal position to assist Biren Singh government at this point of time. I think where the problem arises, of course, because at the end of the day, the biggest problem is the absence of any accountability. Now,
Correct.
65 days into the riots, then obviously you have to have some accountability. Accountability for the political leadership.
Correct.
Accountability for, non-enforcement of the ceasefire agreements with the Kuki insurgent groups, losing of 4,000 arms and 5 lakhs ammunitions, where you have armed civilians. So there has to be some accountability. I think where we fail at this point of time to recognize the fact that it is no longer only the insurgent groups. I think a mob or people who are not under anybody's leadership are resorting to violence from both communities. So it's not, so there is no leadership per se where you could control in terms of the civilians or the armed groups getting involved into it. The second issue is that, all these 3 issues which I have mentioned, ceasefire agreements from 2008, if people have fled from the camps, it was the responsibility of the ceasefire monitoring committee and the Ministry of Home Affairs to enforce that, everybody stays within the camp. That was not done. Now, I do not believe that you can lose 4,000 arms, sophisticated arms, AK-47, inches rifles, grenade launchers, etc., and nobody is held into account. So, in fact, the last meeting when took place, I think last week, between the director of the Intelligence Bureau and the Kuki group, the director of the IB said, well, there shall be accountability for each and every violence. Now, have we seen any accountability? Not at all. I think people who have deposited the arms in their, goodwill, they themselves have not recorded that they have taken away or looted the arms. Looting of arms from the security forces is such a grave criminal offense in this country. You tell me who has been arrested. So, the responsibility at the end of the day, we'll have to stop with Biren Singh because he is in charge of this state. He is the chief minister. So people will continue to ask him that if you are not able to, not only the political party, each and every citizen, in fact, the home minister himself or the prime minister should be asking, are you not responsible? If you are not responsible, maybe there's a need for, if I'm the central government, or if we have imposed Article 355 of the Constitution about 62 days back, and now it's not working, is it not the next course that we should take certain measures? And what you have in the process is absolute silence. So we have basically led, unfortunately, the civilians who have taken arms, the mob, to control in certain pockets, and one spark, in one particular corner by people who are not either under the leadership of the insurgent groups from both sides or anybody else, it can spark of the violence. So how do you do that? You start the process, as I said, by establishing the accountability. So accountability has to be with the political leadership, with the security forces, and those who are resorting to violence. And if you have the situation today that, the policemen and the CRPF are being seen as partisan because the policemen the Metis policemen are not accepted or trusted in the hills, and they cannot go and serve there. And of course, there is a strong opposition to the central, CRPF and Assam Rifles, etc., in the valley. So you have a situation where even the security forces find themselves completely divided. If you ask me, of course, Assam Rifles, why should they be taking positions? But you have created such a narrative in the last 60 days that everybody is seen partisan. So the chief minister, if he is being accused of partisanship, obviously there is a point. So we have to start afresh. And if we do not start afresh, this small violence will continue to take place and nobody will be safe. Whether Supreme Court intervenes, whether Prime Minister speaks or not, the Manipuris will continue to face this violence. So it's unfortunate. And now when the final point, who will take the initiative?
Mr. Swast, you have used a very important word, accountability, and these incidents of small violence. I think that's a very important aspect because the incidents of small violence will shatter the feeling of peace and tranquility because then it makes everything unstable. Dr. Tara, do you agree with what Mr. Suhas said?
Yes, I fully agree with him because if no one is going to take accountability for what is happening in Manipur, then where does the responsibility lies, right? So somebody will have to take, so especially the state government, will have to take account of what is happening and take responsibility and admit that yes, the state machinery has failed. That's why the problem is still happening. If shooting continues every day, that means that nothing is normal. So I fully agree with him that normalcy has not returned, and no one has taken accountability for what is happening in Manipur.
Mr. Dongal, when we talk about accountability, it's about getting to these men and women who perpetrated violence. If we look at the data, so many people have died, people have disappeared, and so many people have been injured. Accountability has not been fixed.
Right. Kartikeji, before I come to answering your question, please allow me briefly to answer Dr. Rogers' allegations. Because I don't know why is he still blaming the Kuki militants even now, even today. It's already been 65 days, and he definitely knows that he, being a journalist, social activist, knows that violence were perpetrated by by the valley-based miscreants in the first place, and how looting of arms, state armory, and also how the state police commandos have aided the mobs in Imphal and attacked and thrown away all the cookies in the valley, and also how he said how everybody in More has been chased away. You see the case of Kwata. Kwata is still lying in More, and it's peaceful. This Kwata is a native village surrounded by 6 cookie villages, and they have not done anything to this village. In fact, there is a consensus between these two. There's a peace, going on between these two communities. So stop pointing fingers. In fact, we have seen how one of our panelists have also rightly pointed out that bigger crimes are evident. Bigger crimes are evident. So this kind of blame game, this kind of allegations have already led to many volunteers volunteering. Civilians, students, teachers volunteering, getting trained, taking up arms to defend their land. So this is very unfortunate. Okay, coming back to your questions regarding accountability. Accountability definitely has to come from everybody. Every community, not just the state government or the central government. It should be from everybody. And now when I say everybody, I'm talking about the two warring parties, especially the Kukis and the Meiteis. Of course, it has to be initiated from the central government. Now, accountability, if you have seen how the state government has responded to the violence and how, despite a lot of proofs on record, that the chief minister has failed, and also that he's part of one among the perpetrators. In fact, he's the chief perpetrator, if I must say, that yet no action has been taken from the central government. So accountability, first of all, fails from the central government. And then we have seen how accountability at the state level also, how despite chief minister being the holding powers in his hand, he's not been able to douse of the fire. Why? God knows. And then accountability from the civilians, the two warring communities. How, when intellectuals like you and me keep telling lies, and
I'm not lying, please, Mr. Dongal, intellectuals like you and me, please.
I'm talking about my co-panelist, Dr. Rogers, all these things.
I have a request. I have no point. Mr. Dongal, I have no issue. You saying your point of view. I really respect everyone here, but at least we can refrain from using the word liars here, please. 65 days. If we continue, at least that should not happen between us. I would say I never stop you. Never ever I have stopped you, Mr. Dongal. Ever. You say whatever you want to, but let's not call each other. These are different perceptions of the same thing. Let's respect that. You finish your point.
Yeah. Why I said, why that word came out, the word liar is because from the start of me appearing.
Mr. Dongal, you are an academician. You can say, I differ from him. He got it wrong. There are 30,000 phrases in English. He just got it wrong.
I would have used that word. I would love to use that word had it been, we are into your 2-3 days of the violence. It's been 65 days. Everybody is aware now. Any educated human being is aware of who is the perpetrators here. And we are still blaming, pointing fingers. That's why, I've used that word. I must take back, yeah? But then, definitely, I strongly differ from what he says. Because like I said, accountability has to come from both. Accountability, even, representing the Kuki community as a research scholar on this platform, I am accountable. I cannot just tell anything that comes to my mind, because we have also seen how the valley-based militants are also being, militants or otherwise the terrorists, are being sponsored. We have seen how one of the retired major, who was posted in
Mr.
Manipur,
Dongal, you
and at
haven't
last-
answered my question. I have noticed that you don't answer my question, Mr. Dongal. I am saying, how can we get people together? Today, I really
Yes.
want to know your opinion how to get people together. I've just
For
put out
me-
the entire status report in front of you.
Okay. See, getting people together is easier said than done, because everybody is now tired of the violence. Everybody wants peace. At least let them. Everybody wants to return to their homes now. Now, how do we get people together? As we have seen, violence is still continuing unabated. There are violence, and just because you belong to one particular community, you are still targeted. So if that is the case, how are we going to negotiate or otherwise convince people to come together under one table? Now, the only way for me, as I would view, would be to the center to step in. The center must step in. They must take accountability of the problem that is prevailing in Manipur, because everything has failed. The center must kick in and then take stock of things, and then only, I think,
Okay.
once the center
I think,
takes
Mr.
steps,
Dongal, Mr.
both
Suhas
the
now wants to
communities can
respond,
come
and
in
after,
then
okay,
stop-
I'll come to you, Mr. Suhas. Seeram, I think you have also raised your hand.
No, actually, no, we have to accept some of the very difficult facts. Of course, one Kuki may not agree that the Kuki militant are involving, or one Meitei may not involve. But as a Meitei, as a responsible person, I'm saying that the center should take action, whoever is involved. No Kuki will say against to take action against the Kuki militant. No Kuki intellectual are not saying, but I am Meitei as a saying that whoever involved in the 3rd May of the attacking on the Meitei villages should be booked. At the same time, whoever involved in Infal on the 4th May, whoever involved of attacking the Kuki should also be punished. Okay? Because something has happened. But it cannot be, a goodwill for all the people who have involved in the violence. That is the point I'm trying to say. But unfortunately, the government of India is actually completely delegitimizing the state government, even the BJP government, and all the recommendations have been completely rejected by the central government. This is the most unfortunate thing. Number one, the government of Manipur have taken a cabinet decision that the Shu militants, some of the leaders were from Myanmar. It was already fact that you should not talk with the Myanmar national who are leading some organization. I don't want to name those organizations. And the government of Manipur have taken a cabinet decision that this suspension operation should be cancelled. But central government have completely rejected, and center says that you don't need to involve. We don't need to involve state government. Rather, they will directly talk to the Kuki militants. So there are so far 3 talks, secret talks have been done, and interestingly, when this announcement of lifting of the this blockade, national highway in the Hindu, it was said that the center has given assurance to the political demand of the Kukis. That is why we are lifting this economic blockade. Then it actually give a message to the Meitei community that there is a secret dealing with the government of India and the Kuki military. This is how the mistrust is happening. So government of India should stop dividing.
So Seeram, are you saying, Seeram, you see, as an anchor, I would say, Kukis are Indians, Maitis are Indians, Nagas are Indians. If they want to talk to anyone, the government of India, they can talk to anyone. So you are basically saying that it should happen in public domain. Basically,
No,
you are saying
yes.
that the conversation, as an academician, you are saying that the conversation should be part of public domain. यानी खुल के होना चाहिए, सबके सामने होना चाहिए. Suhas, you wanted to come in, and Dr. Tara has just joined us. Suhas.
No, I think one of the
Do you agree
unfortunate
with?
things.
Do you agree with Sriram that every conversation should be part of public domain? You know, Batchit Johari with the cookies and the Nagas and the Meiteis in context of Manipur should be part of the public conversation, open, khulke, like a Truth and Reconciliation Commission.
Well, I don't think there has been any sincere efforts in terms of establishing peace. So what the government of India is trying to do, or the Manipur are trying to do, basically piecemeal efforts that, how to keep the cookies happy, how to keep the Meiteis happy. And what I was saying in the beginning is that whenever I see the discussions or the interviews of people who are my friends, whom I expect to be at least have some neutrality, I think people come and participate as if they represent their community. So if that is happening at the level of the intellectuals who have seen the world, then you can imagine what happens at the level of the on the ground. I think where the government of India needs to do is, see, there are political demands of the cookies, there are demands of the Meiteis with respect to their scheduled tribe status. These are complex and difficult issues, and the problems are not going to be resolved because you are going to resolve or find a solution on the cookies' political demand or Meiteis' demand for scheduled tribe status. These are not easy because scheduled tribe is as complex as giving political status to the cookies. I think what is necessary is that at the local level, where you identify certain areas, that you have to take some peace efforts where communities from both sides could be meeting each other. I think there was an example where some cookie villages are still in Imphal under the security being provided by the state, and it goes for the same community in More region. Now, if you look at it, neither the central government, neither the state government of Manipur are creating an apparatus where, normal talks could be held. So it is stuck on the demand for a separate statehood for the cookies, which is going to be very difficult because we have seen the talks with the Nagas. Then again, if you talk to the Meiteis about
I think, Mr. Swaz, if you look at the statements which have come out from the center, I'm just adding, I'm not cutting you in. It's very clear कि separate administration तो अभी नहीं हो सकता है.
Yeah,
Fifth administration के through elections दोबारा हो सकते हैं. These are my sources saying. Not even the sixth schedule. Under fifth schedule, to do free and fair elections in all the tribal areas. This is what we are getting to. This is what our sources told us.
No, at least there's some discussions along the lines, whether it's a separate state, fifth schedule, sixth schedule, or strengthening the existing Hill Council, whatever. There is some discussions on that front. But at the same time, that's a very complex issue. On the other hand, getting scheduled tribe status is so complex that is not even a thing which has been explained. Because tomorrow, if somebody wants to be notified as a scheduled tribe, there is a need for a sociological study. It has to be accepted by the Registrar General of India. Then the National Commission of Scheduled Tribes has to be accepted by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. You bring an amendment, you bring, amendment of the Constitution, and to be notified by the President of India. It's such a cumbersome process and not easy. So, but those are things you are not going to find solution because these are the things which inflames the entire situation. So what you could do is create a situation where Meiteis and the cookies in both sides gradually at least talk to each other and create the atmosphere. And that is not being offered. And at this point of time, I would like to believe that there are enough cookies, there are enough Meiteis who want to speak to each other. And there is a platform, and that platform is not being provided because absolute short-sightedness on the part of the state administration and absolute carelessness on the part of the Union of India because they are so busy with the elections coming up. It doesn't figure.
What you are saying is such a nice thing to hear. After conducting this debate for 65 days, Dr. Tara, I know you escaped from the valley. Would you like to go back if you have this? If someone assures you that you are safe, if there's a conversation between different communities, would you take that chance?
Yes.
Would you take that chance, madam?
Yes, I would, because that has been home for me. We have lived there for 60 years in Imphal. All my friends are there. I have lived there. All my friends are there. And then my home is there. That's where we were born and brought up. So, and my mother also, she's 85. She said she longed to go back to her own home. Now we're living here in a flat where we feel, claustrophobic, and we feel that there is no air, there's no greenery around. So obviously, that the home that we have lived in, Manipur is a beloved state. We have been rendered stateless. We have been chased away. But I know that we can forget and forgive. If there is peace, obviously we will love to go back to a beloved home. I don't know whether we can go back to Infal, where our present house is there, because I don't know whether it is livable, because we have not seen it since the day we left. And then whether we can go back, and then so but it holds so many memories. Infal have a lot of memories, good memories for me. I have Meitei brothers and sisters as a friend, relatives there. So I have lived in Infal. I have never lived in Chuchanpur, Lamka. So obviously I would like to go back if I was assured that there will be peace, that my life will be safe. But coming back to safety, I don't know if we can trust the Meitei brothers and sisters again, because just recently my cousin sister, who was mentally challenged, was gunned down on 6th July for no reason, just because she's a cookie. She has been gunned down. So there's so much of hatred between our two communities now. So I don't know whether we can build this trust. Just now even Romesh was saying that, yeah, they have a talk with the Sioux. So that means if they have a talk with the Sioux, the government of India, that means the other parties getting suspicious. What are they talking about? Everything should be in secret. Okay, they have a talk with the Meitei MLA, they have a talk with the Sioux group. So why should it be coming in a public domain? Because the government of India should try to bring peace. But as I said, yes, I would love to go back if I was given the assurance. But as of now, is this assurance going to be there? Is it going to come there? Will I ever be able to see my beloved house? Can I go and see it in my bedroom again there? Can I go and spend the time in my garden? All these things are not possible right now, because as we said, that life is not normal in Infal. Life is not normal in Chuchanpur. Life is not normal in More. If a Meitei have to go to Chuchanpur, will be killed. If I have to go to Infal, I will be killed. So I don't know when will this ever happen. I'm a middle-aged woman, so I don't know if in my lifetime if there'll be peace, because we keep talking of peace. It's been going on for the past two months. If you want peace, even within a week, the whole problems could have been curtailed. It could have been stopped. But there seems to be a sinister design or plan of chasing the Kuki community out of Infal city and out of Manipur. So who is going to give me the assurance that I, a Kuki Zomi community, will be able to go back safely to Manipur ever again? Because now also we are uprooted. We are living here in Delhi. We don't even know what our future holds. But of course, yes, the question is that I would love to go back to my hometown. I would love to go back to Infal city.
Tara, can you tell me what is the lack? You have been part of political process. You were in Delhi. You spoke your mind in one of the track twos, one of the think tanks closely associated with the government. What is missing politically? What can be done?
See, all these things, like as I keep saying, all of us who are here on the panelists, even if we say we want peace, it is not in our hand. Peace to broker peace is in the hand of the state government and also in the central government. So they are the one who can bring peace to our state. They are the one who with power. They are the one with the decision-making power. We are not. I don't have a decision-making power, all the more so because I'm a woman. But my community, we don't
say like that, Tara. Women are very powerful. Women can change. Indira Gandhi was the Indian Prime Minister, a powerful woman. Golda Meir was Israel Prime Minister. Women have changed history. ऐसे मत बोलिए कि आप औरत हैं. Women represent Devi in Indian culture.
Yes, so give us an opportunity. I admire Indira Gandhi. I am Golda Meir. I admire all these ladies. They are great ladies. So something like that. Even we women have.
Aung San Suu Kyi is in jail. She is a woman fighting for democracy in the neighboring Myanmar. The two prime ministers in the last 20 years were women in Bangladesh. Come on, women are the most powerful people. Women can change things. They can inspire from mother's love to the might of God.
The president is a woman, and the chief minister is not a woman. So what I'm saying is that The people in power are the one who can bring back peace and who can bring me back safely to my home. So why don't they take up the decision concretely for once and say that yes, we want normalcy to return to Manipur, we want peace to happen to Manipur. It's not in, I don't want it just say, it should be in writing, it should be in discussion, and whenever there is a discussion that is being held, we women should be involved, because the women are the one who, and the children who has been most affected, we are the one who's been affected. So why can't we be part of this peace process? Why can't we have demand? And then, as we say, that we want a president's rule first, so that the peace will return, and then something can be decided for everybody. So in the first instance is that if we say we want peace, and we continue shooting each other, we continue creating mayhem and unrest in Manipur and shooting everybody. If he's a Kuki in Infal, you shoot them to death. If there's a Kuki, it's a Meitei in that area, Kangpokpi, we shoot to death. These kind of things should stop. Because we keep saying that we want peace, but I don't see any process of being initiated by the Meitei community or by the Kuki community both. So why don't we just don't talk about it, but put it into action, So as a woman, I want to take the lead. I want to take the lead in bringing peace to my state. But why am I not given the opportunity to do the initiation? Why is only Su group? Why is only that ministers? Why is everybody is taking lead in that, and nothing is concrete is coming out of that for the past 2 months?
Well, that's very beautifully put. Only thing which I'm going to say, Dr. Tara, women are powerful. Women don't need support of men. Women can change lot of things. They can be, they are mothers, they are goddess. They are worship. They are protectors. They are nurturers. And they have led this country. They have. In fact, the biggest war is the woman, which was led by a woman, Indira Gandhi, when Pakistan was split into two. Don't say like that. I'm very hopeful that the women of Manipur will provide solution to the state of Manipur. I think my hope lies with the women of Manipur, and I think that's the way forward.
Gautam Adani, one of the richest men in the world, or a business honcho, accused of manipulating the market.
अदानी जी 609 नंबर से दूसरे नंबर तक कैसे पहुंचे? सिर्फ एक सवाल पूछा, नरेंद्र मोदी जी, आपका अदानी जी से रिश्ता क्या है?
He has given the space, the railways, the airport, which he has no experience also. So the country's interest has been compromised.
Government has been very